This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
The recording has started.
Hey, cats and kittens! Welcome to Super Connectivity. Yes, cats and kittens. I'm your host, Charlie the Professor Esser, and with me, once again, is the face of a nation.
Phil Perich.
That's him. Yes. And there goes Tristan off to play in the front yard.
I was going to say, face of a nation. I'm just Phil Perich. I'm no Tristan Esser.
Well, no, he always wears a mask when he does his stuff. He's very protective of his anonymity. But you're just out there like Tony Stark.
I am.
Put your face on everything. Yes, there we go. Oh, yes. So after third viewing of Infinity War, I can say definitively...
Endgame.
Oh. Electric for Avengers Galore. Cap does not take the shield back in time with him. So he obviously picks up the shield when he comes back to this timeline. Because probably what he does is he comes back to just before everyone starts, fighting, and then goes, steals the shield, and
Or they had somebody fixing it, and he just came, before he talked to Sam and Bucky, he just picked it up where it was being fixed. Or does it get fixed before? Does he take it? Did he maybe shrink it down with PIM particles? Was it in his pocket?
That's a possibility.
Was it in his pocket when he went back in time?
Yeah. There are some inconsistencies with the PIM particles in this about how many they actually had. Because you saw they actually shrunk the ship.
Yeah, but by the time he went back in time, everyone was back. PIM could have made more.
Oh, yeah. No. I mean, no, I'm not saying...
Oh, that
he
part.
probably had a lot. Yeah, so maybe they had fixed it and he did have it shrunk down. It seems basically it's an odd fix, but all we know is that his shield is not visible, broken or together when he goes back in time. And I was listening to the interview that you had suggested on Smodcast with the writers of Infinity War.
Yes.
They had made the statement that it takes removing an Infinity Stone from a universe to create a new alternate branch universe, which I don't think is supported by anything that in what they wrote. And of course, the Russos have a completely different view of it. But even if you're going to go with that idea, wouldn't bringing multiple Infinity Stones into a universe have the same effect?
Even if it's the same ones you took?
Well, no, because here's the thing: they only take one Infinity Stone out of each universe at a certain time. So when he goes back to, as an example, when he goes back to give the Time Stone to the Ancient One, he's also bringing in an extra Tesseract and an extra Mind Stone, and an extra Reality Stone, and an extra Soul Stone.
Yeah, but he's only there for probably just long enough to drop the Time Stone off, right?
I don't know. But, if it's gone for a second, it creates an alternate universe. If it's there for a second, how is it not? And this might explain, as we said last episode, those booms, those little boom sounds you hear as he's dancing with Peggy, as he's just ripping up the time stream for his own personal edification and amusement. That was selfish, Steve. I'm telling you, he let that Steve just sit in the ice for 40 years. Yeah. And when he came out and he says, "You've been living my life this whole time," he says, "Yeah, and I made sure they never looked for you." And he laughed evilly because he is Hydra Cap. Now it can be revealed.
I just wanted to see
the whole time.
I just wanted to see this discussion between him and the Red Skull when he had to take the Soul Stone back.
Yeah, well,
And again, if you give if you have to sacrifice a life to get the Soul Stone, if you give it back, do you get one back? Is that how we get our Black Widow movie?
Well, it's entirely possible. And maybe that's what we get at the start. And maybe that's who he spent his life with. That's the thing. That is what I got to say. Everyone assumes he spends his life with Peggy Carter. Okay, possibly. But like I said, he knows there's another Cap in the ice. It's like when the Gibbon goes to Ape World and Baron Blood is Gorilla Baron Blood is pretending to be Gorilla Captain America. And then the Gibbon realizes, oh, this is like our universe. I know where the real Captain America is. And Cap's going to be just like that. He's going to be like, oh, I know where I am right now. And I'm living that guy's life. And unless he is actually Hydra Cap, and it's like, nope, this is actually the closed universe, because I helped Zola take over everything because I was Hydra Cap the whole time.
Yeah, but I mean, I know you don't want to believe this, but what if he was trying to keep the original timeline intact? And he's like, well, I have to wake up at a certain point. I have to join the Avengers. I have to be there for Avengers 1 and 2. I have to be there for Winter Soldier,
Except he doesn't, because he already was.
Yeah, but if he gets himself out of the ice early, then maybe he's not. He'll be an old man.
Yeah, but they'll have a Bucky, and and there'll be other superheroes to take his place. That's the thing. There's going to be a Captain Marvel. There is a Human Torch. We saw the big prediction. I bet you 1940s Human Torch gets his own series on Disney Plus. But we did see the Synthetic Man at the original Stark Expo. I mean, all these things are there. And now, not for nothing, Disney can use the name Human Torch with impunity. No, for real. We know that there was always these things where they were like dancing around stuff with the Scarlet Witch, with Quicksilver, how they had to like sort of work out the deal. And they had that Synthetic Man, but they never went full Human Torch. Now they can. And because there was actually some discussion at the time that Fox was saying, hey, we have Human Torch, you can't do a Human Torch. And it's like, no, you have 60s Human Torch, we have 40s Human Torch. But lots of things are possible when we get to Disney Plus. But no, I mean, I guess it's just for me, I can't believe that Cap would let himself sit in the ice. I really can't. I can't believe he would let, as an example, I can't believe he would let Bucky continue to be the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
He knows he's alive. He knows where they keep him. He knows the facility in Russia where they eventually take him. Now, maybe it's not built yet, maybe whatever, but he knows all this stuff exists.
Unless he did create an alternate timeline, he did save Bucky early. I mean,
well, that's the thing is, yeah.
Maybe he just returned to this timeline. So if it's an alternate timeline, maybe he did free the other Steve Rogers. Who knows?
Yeah, but then it's like, well, unless maybe they're all into that Devil's Threesome thing. My actual prediction is that if you want my prediction, well, not my prediction, but this is what I would do, is he's there with Peggy for like a year, and then somewhere along the lines he realizes he has to free himself from this timeline. And then, and in that case, we don't even know which Steve Rogers came back.
Mm-hmm.
There's a crazy thought for you. Except this Steve Rogers knew Sam, but that could just been the other Steve Rogers telling him. There's lots of things that could be possibilities here. But I'm certain that he did an entire, and not for nothing, he could have founded the 60s Avengers with Ant-Man and the Wasp. There's lots of things he could have done there. This is my point. And I can't imagine Cap just sitting on the sidelines when he didn't have to.
I know they already talked to Kevin Smith, but the writers of Endgame need to talk to us. Charlie Esser has questions. Many questions.
Yeah, well, hey, you're in charge of getting these interviews, Philip.
I will try.
You will try. Yeah, if you get the person that did craft services for Endgame. So how does Robert Downey Jr. take his coffee? Cream. Two sugars.
What did Chris Hemsworth eat now that he could eat whatever he wanted?
Oh, yeah. Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, it was a fat suit. I do think it was actually Volstag's fat suit because it's a very high quality fat suit they put him in.
Yes, he was wearing a fat suit, but he because of that, I mean, he probably didn't have to stay as cut as he usually does. So it's like,
exactly.
I could have that cupcake, okay.
Yeah, well, except that he also is still doing. That's still how he makes his living, Phil.
I know, but I mean, like that Men in Black movie that's coming out, is he going to be shirtless? I mean, a suit can cover up some imperfect,
This is true. Just ask Alec Baldwin. The man has been around for 40 years. We all have some spread.
He will slap you around.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he would. I might like that. I don't know.
Oh,
there's your trap. Okay. But speaking of fractured timelines, we are in a fractured timeline. We're in an alternate timeline now, according to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, okay. We can jump to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Unless you want to talk more about Endgame. I mean,
No. That's fine. That's fine now.
I said it right that time. There you go. That's one arcing Infinity Saga. Yeah. Actually, my actual also thought is that when they did that second and third snap, that's the thing. It's like four snaps in that universe. No wonder it's falling apart. And I know you say they're not going to mention the snap. We don't talk about that. But
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah.
Well, supposedly this article I read, was it CBR? It was somebody said, yeah, the writers in that of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. weren't told what was coming in Endgame, so they already filmed their season, I guess. So it's like they didn't know, so they just it's not going to get mentioned because they didn't know.
Well, but they knew what happened in Infinity War.
Yeah, but they don't know. I guess the whole thing was like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the season premiere jumps ahead a year. They don't know. Oh, maybe everyone's back already. They don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so they don't know that, but at the same time, they know. Here's what I'm going to say. I don't think that they were flying as blind as you think.
I know, but they can't be like, whoa, I'm glad we got everyone back from the snap, because
and specifically they can't say that.
No.
So they actually, and they maybe aren't going to acknowledge the snap, but the fact that we've all been through some great losses, I think, is an essential thing. And we're going through this issue right now where people are coming in from another universe.
Yes.
From a dark universe, apparently. Because Coulson's a bad guy. Or maybe Coulson's just a good guy who wears black. And they don't got a plane, they got a big truck.
From a post-apocalyptic world, maybe.
Yeah, well, this is from one of the many universes in which, I guess, one of those 14 million other universes where Tony Stark got the gauntlet, and that's when everything went to heck.
What if it's like an alternate reality where like Graviton didn't win fully, but he still like kind of like half wrecked the Earth or something like that?
Oh yeah, or just
I don't know.
Graviton got the Infinity Gauntlet. Who knows?
It seems like something big's going on because they're like, "What's a Coulson?" I don't know,
but it rings a bell. So obviously, there's something. I think they might actually be people from the framework.
Oh,
that maybe the framework actually became real because it was created using the Darkhold.
Mm-hmm.
This is the thing that wasn't a computer program, that was reality.
Yeah, that portal thing they came through seemed like magic to me.
Yeah, well, exactly. It all seems like magic because it is. Because all magic is science. Magic is science because it is. If it works, it means there's rules. There's rules. What's not magic is gigantic butts coming out of cells to eat people.
Doom Patrol.
Doom Patrol, yeah. They do have a thing with butts in that show. Like, more so even than I have a thing with butts. They got a lot of butts on that show. I think that was their way of giving homage to maybe a lack of butts in Teen Titans. And
maybe. I don't know.
Tell the Nightwing story without butts? I don't know.
Because I heard something. The butts aren't from the comic book. That's like a completely original TV thing. So,
Yeah, well, it's very. I actually think it's supposed to be a reference to the Forbidden Zone, which was a weird. Oh, who's the guy who? Oingo Boingo. Who's the guy from Oingo Boingo? Does the music for The Simpsons. Anyway, he has a film. It's on Tubi called The Forbidden Zone. It is the craziest universe film you'll ever see. Hervé Villechaize is the king of the underworld in it. It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And also a little disturbing because it is from the time before, like, minstrelsy was as frowned upon as it is today. So there are some scenes where when you watch, you go, "Oh, this is not a good thing to do."
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, it's done in certain ways that, you can see it. I guess it's supposed to be ironic, but there are also parts of it where you're like, man, this is like, Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's. Yes, we all love Mickey Rooney, except for that. Oh goodness, but yeah. So, but when you go to the Forbidden Zone and that, you actually travel through a butt, and it is a very surrealistic thing. So I get the idea that maybe that's what they're trying to reference there.
Maybe.
Or they're trying to reference Teen Titans Go. One or the other, because they do a lot of butts in Teen Titans Go too, and it has been very popular, Teen Titans Go. So maybe they're just trying to stick to the formula.
But anyway, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We're all over the place, Philip. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So
Mac's director, May's more talkative.
Yo-Yo is getting her groove on.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently behind Mac's back.
Ooh.
But like Mac kind of shut her out. But it's like, why can't anyone ever have a good work-life balance? And I like our new science director.
Oh yeah.
Who is also an older fat guy, and he's gay, and he's black.
And did you
you got to have all kinds of people to save the universe.
Did you catch where she said he taught? What school he taught at?
Yeah, Culver University.
Yeah.
Yeah, Culver University. Yeah, that is the Empire State University of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Well, yeah, isn't that? But isn't that
for whatever reason they couldn't get Empire State University?
Is that a Hulk related?
Yeah, that's where the Hulk. Culver, that's where the Hulk's from. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they've actually mentioned Culver University before a few times, and in fact, pretty much any time. In fact, I think Selvig taught at Culver.
Mm.
Because you do,
Yep.
It's like the one university where they're doing that cutting edge research for comic book. It's where super science happens. And he apparently built the super science department. And now, as he says, I don't know if it's because I don't know if they're cutting me up because I'm old or because I'm an alcoholic. I love that, but it's like, maybe you're onto something on both, But I love that he's an imbibing American, like myself.
Yeah.
Because since Tony Stark got clean, man, how many heroes do we have left? Oh goodness! But no, it's interesting, and so we were building our science department, and that's cool. So we're gonna get our super science. We see that basically Simmons betrays her team, takes them to the Taiwan of the galactic cryo chamber universe, because that's where it was made.
Wretched hive of scum and villainy.
No, it's just a place where they bake stuff. It's going to be just a manufacturing world. It's like, yeah, we make cryo chambers, we make whatevers, and we see that Fitz is out and is apparently hopped up on some kind of neck juice.
Oh yeah, his eyes went.
Yeah, well, that's. Hey, man, he's having a rough go.
Well, he thinks he has to make it to 74 years in the future. They have to catch up to him and say, no, you don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah. Well, you think that news would have got that the Earth didn't explode?
Well,
or maybe, and like I said, if they ever, here's the thing, I think a few episodes in, they're going to mention the snap.
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know, because half the universe, man, half the universe. You can't just walk away from that, and you can't expect it unless there is this idea that actually they did defeat Thanos in this universe. This is one of 14 million other universes. Well, as we said, it's entirely possible that the original timeline that they're from, they actually, Graviton defeated Thanos because he blew up the Earth.
Yeah. I
Small
mean,
price to pay, but it saved trillions of lives. It's
true.
It's your basic incursion conundrum.
I don't know. I thought it would have been nice if they would have told them. So instead of like a 1-year jump, they could have made like a 5-year jump. So that way, that way some of them could have went missing, and then like that could have been what woke Fitz up. He could have been snapped, and then when he came back, he was like awake.
Yeah. Although someone pointed out that the whole problem with bringing people back where they left is that some people were flying planes at the time. So it's like, I'm back. Where did my helicopter go?
In midair, yeah, I know.
Yeah. People are on the middle, and really it doesn't necessarily work because every planet moved in that time. So it's
like appeared a vacuum.
Yeah, the cold vacuum of space. Oh no. But actually what we can assume is that the Infinity Stones work with you. They know what, like someone recently saying, why wasn't Gamora snapped when Tony Stark snapped Thanos' armies? It's like, because the stones know she's a good one.
Yeah. I mean, it's science, but it's basically a magic lamp. So basically, that's what I was thinking when the Hulk snapped. Maybe they're part of it. Maybe it's just like thinking, put everyone back safe on the ground or whatever. Yeah,
well, just bring everybody back. I mean, that's what he wants.
Bring everyone back safely. Boom.
Yes, exactly. It's like, don't. And he says he tried to bring Nat back, but he couldn't.
Yeah, because she wasn't part of the snap.
Or maybe he didn't. He just doesn't know.
Or maybe because when Cap took the Soul Stone back, she was already back.
Well, and like I said, I don't get the whole Soul Stone rules, because apparently once it's off Vormir, anyone can take it.
Mm-hmm.
So, because anyway, yes, sorry, yes, they're lovely. Especially when they want things, and you're in the middle of a podcast, and they could have done it before the podcast, but now they're going to ask you, can I buy this toy I don't have money for? Oh, what do you mean no? Kids. I love them dearly. But anyway.
But then then we got Quake, Scourge of the Universe.
Oh yeah, Quake. Well, it's got to make them fear them, because there's 4 people in a ship, because everybody else was like, yeah, we're kind of sick of looking for Fitz. Let's all go home. And of course, we don't know who's after them. Is it the Kree? Is it the Skrulls? Is it the Atlanteans? Who knows?
That was a funny line. Do you think they saw us? We don't have to whisper. Sound doesn't travel in a vacuum.
Yeah, and then they do their light speed jump. I noticed, interestingly, that their method of light speed jumping is different, and actually looks much more like the Space Stone jump than what is standard in the universe, which is that octagon shaped jump point. You
think that because theirs is more like jury rigged together, maybe?
Possibly. I was thinking that, or I was thinking it's using a different kind of technology.
Maybe, yeah.
Right. Basically, it's using gravitonium technology.
Yeah, it just looked like it was,
Yeah, but it was cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably put together with spit and peeling wire, made by primitive monkeys who had no right to have this level of technology. Yeah. Yeah, that actually is going to be the most interesting thing about future Marvel films, is who's maintaining the armor. for Rhodey and for Pepper. And it gives you this great chance to introduce a bunch of other super genius characters. Your, what's his name? Amadeus Cho can show up and fix things. Great reason to bring in Fitz and Simmons.
True. Or, I mean, they have Shuri. They have, I mean, Banner worked with Tony Stark for how long? Maybe Peter Parker starts figuring stuff out since he's wearing a Stark suit, you know.
Yeah, and Peter Parker is a super genius. So, yeah. But it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. You know,
or I mean, I don't know if they're going to use him again, but what's that kid from Iron Man 3 been up to from between Iron Man 3 and the funeral?
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe that's a great reason to bring him back. Now he's tech support. That's a superhero name, tech support.
Yes.
Yes, that would be a great superhero name. Surprised no one has ever used that. Probably someone has. But yeah, it is interesting. But no, I like that. I like when. Well, I don't like, but it's interesting when people are coming through and like they get stuck in something, and he's just like frozen there until the most dramatic moment. He's like, how did you not detect a heartbeat? Says he doesn't have a heart. He is made of concrete.
Because he was part cybernetic.
Yeah, well, what's interesting in all of that is I like the woman who says, "Oh, you're going to be a butterfly," which again makes me think there's some kind of reality stone going on here.
Maybe.
Because these are what they say. So we can't call them anomalies. We burned that out last year. It's yes.
What if someone grabbed realities or Infinity Stones in that reality to try to either defeat Thanos or Graviton or both?
Yeah. Well, who knows, man? Because not for nothing, they had time travel in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. before they had time travel. So basically, it's like this technology exists. That's like one of these things, like, where like, oh, PIM particles, they're so rare in things. But apparently, all Thanos had to do was just put it in a replicator. Because he brought his whole army with him, probably micro-sized, through the microverse, and put him in orbit around the planet again, Because those are all the guys from 2014 who came back because they're like, oh, we're all dead in this universe. Fun. Yes.
I was trying to think of anything else I heard in that. I mean, that interview was like over 2 hours long. I'm trying to think of anything they said that would I know there's a few things that caught my attention, but now I can't remember for the life of me.
Yeah, it's okay. But I think it's interesting that the Russo brothers and what's it, McFeely and I forget the other person's name, are like at odds about like what happened, which is one of these interesting things about this collective storytelling that neither one of them really know, because at the end of the day, it's not up to them to decide, because it's like, well, we can say it, but the fact of the matter is the next writer will write what they want it to be.
Yeah.
It's not like we don't get the final word on what we're doing.
It's like playing in that shared universe. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like everything else in comic books, it's a shared universe. I can have Kraven the Hunter have a growth as a character in Squirrel Girl, and when you Spider-Man writers get your hands on him, they're just going to ruin him.
Yep.
But
it's Marcus and McFeely.
Marcus and McFeely, yes. There we go. I gotta say that is still the saddest part of the original Gwenpool arc, is when she has to say goodbye to Batroc. And he tells her, "You're not going to be this cool guy anymore. You're going to be what they want you to be. And I'm really sad that I have to leave you because of that." You're
just gonna be bouncing your head off of Captain America's shield. You're not gonna be cool anymore.
Well, no, but honestly, people have been trying to make Batroc cool for years, and I don't know why you have to try. Batroc is cool.
Because they kind of just made him a joke. It's like, oh, somebody, Captain America or somebody else needs a villain to slap around. Oh, let's bring in Batroc.
Yeah, they made him French. Although, honestly, the redemption of Batroc has been in the works since Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Because that was a really cool Batroc we got in Winter Soldier. They made his jumpsuit even a muted purple. So it's like, testing the waters. Before we go full Helicrown on them. Or what was it? Yes. Well, actually, no. Loki had Loki had his helmet first in the original Avengers, where he gets the big curly horns. That's
make a move, Reindeer Games.
yes. That was fantastic. So many good movies Marvel made, and they'll make some more good movies.
Right.
I'm still hoping they make a Hulk film because they got to revisit the Hulk, man. And you know what? Not for nothing. Yes, not for nothing. When having the Hulk have that bum arm is something that's going to make him angry.
Yeah.
And when he gets angry, that's when we're going to really get to explore what the Hulk is.
And is there going to be further? Is there going to be further experimentation? And is that going to give us Joe Fixit?
Well, it's going to give us something. It might even, who knows what we're going to get. But I think the real hope is that, here's my big hope, is that Paramount is going to realize there's some money in Hulks. And let's see if we can't do something with this. And because we've established some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We've got this Ruffalo guy, Yes, he's under contract with Disney. I think that's like the weirdest thing about it is like he's under contract with Disney. So in order to get Ruffalo, you have to make a deal with Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, I think recasting the Hulk was probably the most brilliant thing they ever did, because they put him under contract with Disney, not Paramount. So he is the face of the Hulk. But if Paramount wants to make a Hulk movie, they have to work with Disney. And I think they'll work it out, because I think there is so much good with the Hulk, especially this new Smart Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the what was Amadeus's Hulk one called?
Totally Awesome Hulk.
Totally Awesome. Okay, no, that wouldn't be a good name for it. It's named like the Superior Hulk, but yeah, it's a possibility. But as I say, they do call out that we are in an alternate timeline in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I do think that might be an interesting way that they're going to work it.
Mm-hmm.
Is this idea that actually the timelines have all split, and so there is a TV universe. It is highly connected to that other universe, but it's now in a split off universe because this is a universe without the snap, perhaps because this is the universe where Thor went for the head.
Oh.
Because I'm sorry, when he says in 14 million universes we only win one time, it's like, no, because I'm sure in 14 million universes Thor went for the head or the shoulder at some point.
And it's an infinite amount of universes, so there could be more than 14 million. Maybe Doctor Strange just saw the first 14 million. Yeah,
basically he said, okay, we're the ones where he looked at a bunch that ended poorly. Yeah, because as you say, it's an infinite number of possibilities, and it's like 14 million. It's like saying 14 million of infinity is the same as 10 of infinity. If said, I saw 10 different possibilities and only one of them worked. I saw 14 million possibilities and only one of them worked. It's like, well, how many other possibilities are there? Oh, infinite. I mean, honestly, that's like a drop in the bucket. If you just think about it, it's like, well, there are 14 million in which, from this point, what we're looking at now, where I didn't just, because not for nothing, there's like a billion other universes where Doctor Strange says, no, I'm going home, and opens up a door portal and walks home. Because as we saw, he can do that from the planet too.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like, oh, my powers are bound to Earth, or this, that. It's like, no, actually, I can just walk there. Because he brings Peter back from the planet then too. So it's basically, once he makes the idea that he's going to stick with this idiot Tony Stark and come to this universe, it's like, okay, come to the planet. Then it's like, okay, so where do we go from here? But in like most universes, that may be what all it was, is that he went home. He went back to Bleecker Street and says, "No, I got to keep the stone safe. I'm not going to let that idiot get my stone. What the heck? What do you think? I'm stupid? Let him have 5 of the dang stones. What's he going to do with that? It's like it's going to be a jerk. He's already a jerk. He's a jerk with one glove.
Yeah.
He's Michael Jackson, basically. I'm sure he was a jerk. Sometimes.
Yeah. Do you want?
Yes. Want to talk Cloak and Dagger?
Yes, I was gonna say. Want to talk some Cloak and Dagger?
Yeah, let's talk Cloak and Dagger because that show finally made sense. No, I'm sorry. All the jumping around in the person's mind, it's hard to watch when you're drunk.
with all the records and stuff. Yeah.
Yes, but now it all made sense. Like it all sort of comes to a fold in this final thing. We get a nice little drug aspect to their stories as well with at least Dagger, since that is a reference to the original thing. Man, them trying to turn Dagger out though, I knew that was going to end poorly for somebody.
Oh yeah.
But I do like how they're evolving their powers. And as an example, Tandy's powers come from giving people hope.
Mm-hmm.
So when she's alone, she can't give anyone hope, and that's why her powers fail. Then as soon as she gives that other girl hope, suddenly her powers return, and suddenly she's a BA. Meanwhile, Cloak, of course, he's doing his jumping around. I am the evil that quacks in the night shtick, and doing a great job. But then we see at the end, he starts to fade because he needs to be fed the light, and this is what creates the Cloak and Dagger bond that exists to this day.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Tandy stuff because it moved the story along, but I don't know, just some of the Tyrone stuff. It just seems like they're spinning their wheels. It's like we're still with this guy who killed his brother. It's like kill him, put him in jail, move on already.
Well, I mean, not for nothing. I actually thought, I thought the mother and the cop were kind of neat.
That was a good scene, yeah.
Yeah, and not for nothing. It's kind of, these guys just sort of like, look, I have spent the last, 9 months living with every horrible choice I've ever made.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. It's like you got no idea. He literally just got out of, HE double hockey sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Like not even in like, a metaphorical sense. It's like, no, literally this is something like, mind effery going on. Oh, by the way, just a real quick thing from Avengers Endgame. I realize that's why Thanos is calling down the fire. It's not because he's in physical pain. It's because when Scarlet Witch is basically tearing him apart, she's like tearing apart his brain too.
Oh.
So it's like that was like, well, why isn't she using that psychic power? It's like, oh, she is. You just can't see it. Mm-hmm. It's like you got no idea what's in his mind right now. Mm-hmm. That's like every person he ever killed, basically asking him why.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, put on your shoes, grab your guitar, have a fun time, buddy. I love you. Guitar lessons today.
Ooh.
Grandpa's taking them. Yes. Well, he's getting good with Ode to Joy, man.
Nice.
Ding, 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 ding.
Grab your shoes, grab a guitar, have a good time.
Yeah. Yes, he will. But yeah, I do think that is like the quality there, that there's like, it's like so much more than just, it's not just physical pain. It's like, that's why he says rain, fire. It's like, but our dream says, do it, just get this lady out of my head. Which also shows how little he cares for anyone but himself. Thanos is a villain, straight up. No redemptive arc for him. But and speaking of being dark and inside your head, I'm blanking on the guy's name. The guy who wants to be a god, who also has his migraine.
From Cloak.
Yeah, Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah,
I'm forgetting it. Was it Spencer? Something like that. Starts with an S. I know that, but and he tries to do his shtick with the Mambo priestess, and she's like, "Please, this is the first time I've been to this dimension." And it's neat, records. That's a nice trick you got there. And I kind of wonder if he's supposed to be like sort of their version of Mr. Negative. Do you think? Because he does have that sort of philanthropist, but also a criminal thing going. They're not going. He's not really Mr. Negative, but we also see how he uses his powers to manipulate people to bring them into the dark parts of their mind, to rob them of hope. Even as his other persona gives people hope. It's like, it is the dichotomy of both light and dark in one person. And then we see that Mayhem, who's still stuck in this dimension, which actually is why I think it is an actual dimension. It's not like it's not just like inside his cloak. It's actually a separate space. It is the dark dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Where apparently next episode we get to meet Baron Zamidi, which I am all about, because first off, Baron Zamidi is just hella cool as a being of mythos and folklore, but also because I'm sure they're going to play death in that really esoteric way that writers always like to play death, where death is not the bad guy.
Yes.
It's a feature, not a bug. And so the idea that we're going to get Baron... Now, my real question is, who is Baron Zamidi? Is it Spencer evolved into Baron Zamidi, or is that the Mambo? Is that the ant who, after her heart stops, says, you struck me down and now I just become more powerful? Yeah, you never want to strike down, a wizard or a space wizard or anything like that, because they always just become more powerful when you strike them down.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why the Emperor is coming back in Rise of the Skywalkers. Yes, because Luke struck him down and he just became more powerful.
Well, it took him 30 years, but hey.
Well, who says?
Oh.
Did you ever see that Twilight Zone with the fascist guy? He's like a New York City fascist, and he's trying to get his little America First party started.
I don't think.
Sorry, said to deal with it. He's being goof offy. He's not wanting to do what he has to do, and his grandpa's downstairs waiting.
Fine. I'll do it.
Kids.
Video games, I know.
Yeah. Phil's smart. He's in a room that he can lock a door on. I don't have one of those. I'm not like a billionaire like Philip Perich, the podcast king, with his house full of comic books. With his little man cave. No, that's okay. It's envy. It is a deadly sin. Why not? I have all the others. So, yeah, he actually took his shoes off because he went out and played, and then he came back upstairs and took his shoes off. Yeah, kids today.
Do you want to talk any comics? I know we'll talk a bunch with Lilith.
Yeah, we'll talk a bunch with Lilith. Did you read Conan?
No, I didn't.
Okay, that's good. I mean, it was good.
Well,
I don't want to. Yeah.
I didn't know if you wanted to complain about Invaders number 5.
Okay, well, let me just preface this by saying I haven't even read Invaders number 5.
Oh.
But it's like, I went through it because I was trying. Because first off, I'm trying to listen to the podcast. I'm trying to read, and my eyes are going because I'm old. And I realized I have to take off my glasses and hold the comic book like this. I think I have to I might have to get bifocals. But I'm sure it's a good story, but the way they get out of the whole Bucky got shot in the head thing really annoys me. And then, like I said, they're blowing up cities. It's like you don't need to go there. You don't need to always have things being blown up and having it go full on war. Not for nothing. Big wars like that tend to be avoided in our modern world. I mean, there are lots of shooting wars, don't get me wrong, and there are cities that get bombed. But the fact of the matter is that, that kind of destruction, if you're really unleashing that kind of destruction, like super bombs, not for nothing, the entire world would unite against Namor. You would have, and not for nothing, you would have an entire world united against Namor, because everybody would have a reason to really mess with Namor, because he's a small superhero from a small group of people. Yes, they have advanced technology, but you know what? So does everybody else at the moment.
He's Kim Jong. He's underwater Kim Jong Un.
Except Kim Jong Un is smart enough not to actually try and bomb anyone. He wants people to worry about him bombing you. When he actually starts bombing people, then it's like, okay, we're kind of tired. When it was a threat, we wanted to avoid the risk. But once you actually, that's the thing, is like once you make good on a threat, then everyone has to decide, okay, are we going to destroy you or are we going to tolerate you? Kid just went in the other room. Just, just 1 second.
All right. Well, Charlie's dealing with family things. Yeah, I mean, I see what he's saying about invaders. It's just, I mean, there's a gimmick. At the end of the last issue, Bucky gets shot in the back of the head, and it's just like, and then this time it's like, oh, thank goodness, it only fires blanks when I'm not holding the gun. Which I know he's gotten upgrades from Tony Stark before, and it's just like. It just seems a little too convenient. I know they had that. I'm sure they had that solution in mind before, they even got to this point. But it's just like, do you really need that kind of fake drama? And I understand what Charlie's saying with the war thing. I mean, I kind of get it with Namor, but it's like, do you need death and destruction and war and mayhem every single time? Sometimes I just enjoy a story where a guy's knocking over a bank, right, Charlie Esser?
Well, yes, exactly.
It doesn't need to be universal and global destruction every time.
Well, they're doing it's World War Namor,
Yeah.
Like I said, it just after building. Here's the thing: when you build an espionage story, you don't want to cheap it out, because an espionage story is built around. That we come to the brink of where we don't actually do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, shouldn't this be the story where, hey, we just averted World War III?
Exactly. Here's the thing: you don't do a romantic comedy and then have the final, then go into porn halfway through, because yes, that is what might happen, but we're actually trying to tell a different story. So yeah, I was just, and like I said, the cheap cop out of. Oh, my gun only shoots blanks when I'm not holding it. It is just so ridiculous.
Well, that's what I said. I was just like, I know he's gotten upgrades from Tony Stark before, and I'm sure they had this solution in place before they even did that cliffhanger last issue, but it's like, well, why go there? It's just like, just knock him out, something.
Yeah, well, exactly. And not... Like I said, it's just ridiculous that, I gave her my gun and then she shot me in the head.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, it was just a blank. Now, not for nothing. If you get shot in the head at point blank range by a blank, it actually kills you. That's why we don't have a second season of Voyagers. Okay?
No. Just like she shoots him in the back or something, and it could have been a real bullet. It's just like, oh, thank God, my body armor,
Yeah, or anything. Anything other than what they did. And it's one of these situations where it doesn't matter how good the stories were up until that point. They pull you right out of it. It's a Martha moment.
Charlie Esser's done.
Yeah, I'm done. It's like, okay, you said Martha, and I can't deal anymore. I can't. I just cannot. Not I cannot. Not I can even. Even I cannot. That's what Starfire would say. And I'm sorry you had to see me get all angry with my kid, but he was being schluffy. And yes, they should rob more banks. Which is why I actually really liked Captain America.
Oh, Captain America 10. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
Yes, I did. I don't know if we want to save that for Love. Is she reading that?
I can't remember. I mean, we can mention it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I just like the fact that they're not actual Nazis. That's like my favorite line from Cap. It's like, don't get me wrong, these are bad people, and I'm not soft on them in any way, but but an actual Nazi, Baron von Strucker, that's an actual Nazi,
Mm-hmm.
And I do love punching them.
Which, I mean, and we get the whole thing with Thunderball. I mean, he did show up when, in the last series of Black Panther when Ta-Nehisi Coates was writing that too. Is he trying to redeem Thunderball? Or are we going to get a heroic Thunderball eventually, maybe?
I'm sorry, what's his name, Philip?
Thunderball? I'm sorry, Dr. Franklin.
Dr. Franklin, thank you.
because that was his whole
What's
thing.
the name of the doctor on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I forget.
Was it Dr. Franklin? Is that Thunderball?
I didn't think, but
yeah, I don't know. It might be interesting if that was. Yeah. It's just Thunderball. That'd be great. That would be cool. That would be awesome. Because not for nothing, Thunderball actually was a super genius. Why he turned to crime, we don't know.
Was that Asgardian magic?
Yeah, Asgardian magic. Asgardians. And that's only because they all held the. Well, I think he probably has like a Scott Lang kind of story where he turned to crime because, hey, being smart didn't pay the bills, man.
Mm-hmm.
Had a PhD and MBA, but now he's waiting tables because there's bills to pay. But he never got nervous with the tool, so he did not wind up on his back in a bloody pool. Okay. Anyway, we'll look it up and we'll get back to that because you know what, Philip, we got to talk to Lilith in a minute.
Oh yeah. For Capes and Lunatics.
Before we talk to Lilith, it's like we got another show to do, unless she said she's running late, which
I haven't seen anything. All right.
I haven't seen anything yet. Yeah. we may need to take a libation break. So an evolution break. Evolution? Evolution? Wash your face. I think that's evolution.
That means you have to pee. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, libation would be drinking thing.
I know.
I'm already doing, which is why I need to now do an ebullition. But Philip, if people would like to talk to you, whether or not it's ebullition or libation or emoluments.
Oh wait, I did get a message. She is running late.
Oh, there we go. So we got a few more minutes, so we can figure out if that was Thunderball on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I was looking it up.
Would be awesome.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, it would be awesome. So I'm going to have to rewatch it now because I told my wife, don't delete that from the DVR because I want to watch it again. And I went because you got to rewatch these things at least 2 or 3 times before you podcast about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it would be very cool if that is Dr. Franklin from Thunderball. That it's like old Thunderball, because that's what's great about the MCU is they will have characters that are from the current thing, but they'll put them in the 40s, and it's like, well, this was him when he first appeared in the 60s, and he was Dr. Franklin, and then time. So you can go do that. You can do your disco hustler storyline. You just said it in the 60s, and now it makes sense. And he just fought a different hero. And I'm still waiting for them to bring back Dominic Fortune. I really want to see that pilot. Marvel's Most Wanted. Back, and we know no Orville this week. That was sad.
No, because the season's over. So
yeah. Oh well, it'll come back next season. Anyway, any final thoughts on anything this week, Phil?
I don't think so. Plus, again, we'll have another show if we have anything we want to really discuss.
Oh yeah, and not for nothing. I'm going to talk about this there too. But look, can you read that?
I was having trouble.
Okay. Alternate Comics says, hey, submit us your short stories. They're looking if they want stories and art, or if they just want short stories. If they just want short stories, I can write a short story. Nice. 1 to 10 pages, and I got like 20 of those. So I'm gonna try and write for Alternate Comics and see what I would write if I could write. And who knows? They may have like 10 artists and no writers. Which is always an issue with comic books. It's like putting the words and the pictures together is where it gets hard. But okay, Philip, let us go ebullate. And in the meantime, if people would like to ebullate with you, how can they do so?
Whoa. Well, you can always get a hold of me, nightwingpdp@gmail.com. On Twitter, I am @nightwingpdp. And you can always get a hold of Capes and Lunatics. We're on Facebook or on Twitter. You can always email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com. The voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And make sure to check out Work in Progress, capesandlunatics.org.
And, of course, you can always write to me in that old-fashioned email way the way our Maz and Paz once did at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. And of course, follow me on the Twitters. I live tweet things when I'm home in time too. At Charlie Esser. That's CHARLIE. ESSER. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing!
There you go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for super connecting with us tonight. Please super connect with us again, unless you're in an alternate dimension, or from that dimension that Mysterio is from.
Or he's just lying about his Mysterio.
Yeah.
I see giant monsters. I'm like, this is all Mysterio gag. It's an illusion.
Yeah, but you know what?
They're really going to reveal the whole multi-dimensional thing in a trailer. Come on.
No, my big prediction is he's a Skrull, and he's just using advanced Skrull technology to fool people into thinking he's a hero.
Maybe somehow he's tricking people because it's like you're going to do that big reveal of the multiverse in a trailer. I don't think so.
It's the 4 Skrulls that tried to invade. They got left behind after they got done being cows. One said, "Okay, I'll be Mysterio. You guys just turn into you be a water monster. You be a sand monster, and then we'll fight."